Hello and welcome to another series of live coding with Gerph. Today we are starting the series. We're going to be looking at adding text rendering to the window manager, which is relatively simple. It's just some font calls and some sizing and a bit of interfacing code. So it's going to be quite excellent. It's going to be hopefully relatively easy, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get this to the point where we've got something that's nice and working. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. For now, let us see what we can start with. What do we normally start with? We normally start with what we're doing. So let us have a look. Okay, so in the Riscos64 status repo, we've got a list of all the things that I'm planning to do and all that. So here's all the things that we're doing for phase 1, and this is a phase 2 thing, so it's not in this list. There's still a few things to do in here, but I'm trying to do things in this live coding that are vaguely interesting. So hopefully the text rendering will be more interesting. So we'll go to phase 2. So we haven't done a huge amount on this. We've got lots of different components that I wanted to do in this. And some of them have got some bits done, some of it's have been started and things like that. But if we look down here at the window manager, we've got window text rendering, and I've only actually planned to get it to the point where it's stubbed. And a stub basically just means you can do something and it will just sort of respond in the right kind of way, but not properly. For this series, I think actually we can probably get it all the way up to internals, if not functional. I think we can probably do that. So let's have a see what we've got for this. So if we have a look in here, that'd be really nice if I sorted this, wouldn't it? Why is it not there? Text rendering, sprite extend, text there it is. Yeah, this would be a handy thing to have sort. Oh, it's sorted by area, that's why. Yeah, text rendering here. Right. So as I say, phase 3 was actually for the functional stuff. Yeah, fine. So functionality we want to provide is this stuff: text rendering, sizing, coloring, actually honoring the Wimp font setting, doing some system font rendering as well, not just font manager. Default being picked up from NVRAM. That'll be a trivial one, but we should try and do that. Truncation with ellipsis should be relatively easy as well. And then reading where the split point will be. All of which should be relatively easy. And there's 4 SWI calls here apparently that we need to implement. So that looks pretty good. We make calls to Fortran and Font Manager. So that's the sort of thing we're going to be doing. Let's have a see what we can do with it. I will say my quick hellos. We've got hello to Bagger Spanners, who's Dave, Arcomp Andrew Rawnsley, and Riscos UK down there. And we've got 7 people watching. I mean, it's not the 700 that we got at one point a few weeks back, but this is good. We're going to be looking at fun things. Well, hopefully it'll be fun things. So let's start out by creating a repository. So the way we do that is we don't do it in here. We've got to be over here. And we need to create a new repository. So new repository. Dum, dum, dum. Right. Riscos Wimp text render. So one of the things that I'm doing with this is hire user bin GCC as well. Oh yes, whilst I remember, these repositories that I've got on here have also got little sponsorship buttons. So if you want to support me and you're not being technical, please feel free to go and use that. Also, you can also be involved by contributing, create issues, create PRs to mention things that may have been forgotten and the like. So do feel free to do that. Just open with that as well, because it's all I'm trying to get people involved, even if they're not technical. Hello, Haxalima. Okay, good word, good name rather. Right, so this is Riscos text rendering. Choose visibility. We want it public. We don't want a README. We don't want a git ignore. We don't want a license. We're just going to start out with this being a plain empty repository. So here we go. Oh, whilst I also remember, let me split view makes it easier to multitask. Put pages side by side in the same. Oh, go on, show me how. Right click on this tab and select new split view with current tab. New split view with current tab. Oh! Do I like that? Click here to separate or arrange the split. Nicely. Yeah, I followed the instructions, all right? Close left, close right. Revert, I can swap them around and then see if... Well, that's new. Well, at least I've never seen that before. I wonder if this is in Chrome. I wonder if Firefox has a similar thing, because that's quite cute. I regularly do things like that. Can I just split that again, because I'm gonna... Oh. I still haven't used tab groups properly. Right, cool. Andrew says, I find it happens by mistake too often because in the same place on the right click menu when you open new tab was. Yeah, muscle memory is going to be messed up with that, isn't it? Anyway, learning new things. It's all wonderful. We like this. Right, so I've got a repository. So pick up the repository name and then pop over here and we do git clone that repository .git. You appear to have cloned an empty... I know I have. I know I've cloned an empty repository. I mean, it's good that it tells you, but anyway, right. So, yeah, so let's get started. So we're going to start out by creating a skeleton project. Riscos project, create, name is Wimp text render. And we're going to create this as a command. And the reason I'm going to create this as a command is because I don't want to write a module. For all of this work, there's no need initially to write a module. We can write all the code in like regular application code, and then we can just move it into a module later. And that should mean that it'll be easier to test, and it'll mean that other people can try things out without having to deal with modules, which is always a bit fun. And none of this needs to be in a module, so let's do it that way. We can also turn it into a library later, but that's what we're going to do. Oh, thank you very much. They've set up a sponsor. Oh dear, I'm going to be sounding like a regular YouTuber. Please sponsor me. Thank you very much for sponsoring. Whoa, hey. Yeah, I'm not completely sold out, but there we go. We've got some files there. So we just check that this will work. Build it. There we go. And then we can go and run it. Command AIF 32 dot Wimp text render. I was trying to read where it was. It's just here. Wimp text render. There we go. Dum, dum, dum. There we are. It's running. Cool. So we've built a very simple application command line tool that will do nothing. Every little helps. Yes, that's exactly right. So nothing there. Add. Oh, we also want to add the git files as well. Riscos project create git, because this will go and set up git ignores and the like, so we don't commit things we didn't mean to. So I do git add star. We should have everything added. Oh, except that doesn't add the git attributes or git ignore. There we go. Right. Initial commit of an empty application. empty command line. We start with the empty tool so that we can build upon it. There we go, git push. Okay, so so that anybody else who wants to follow can do so. This is the repository we are working with, and if I reload it now, if I reload it with Control R, because F5 doesn't work, we get the repository. Oh, excuse me. Next thing, let's add some CI so we get it run and tested. And if you've been following these sessions, you'll know that it is really important to me that we have testing present in all of the things we do, because then we get something that hopefully will be guaranteed to work. CI.yaml. There it is, yeah. Okay, and I'm just going to go and, so what I should do is also put this into my editor. Oh, thank you very much. I've got another window down there. We don't need this window, we'll use this one then. Thank you very much. All right, so in here, this is these are created automatically when you do the command Riscos project to create CI. I do intend to make this Riscos project open source. I just haven't got round to it. I was meaning to do it last week, but I haven't. But this basically creates a stub thing which has got it's got bugs in it because I haven't released the latest version. Okay, let's just quickly fix this. HU prologue against the current workflow. Yeah, that looks good. Nope, come on, this window, please. This screen, please. Okay, so yeah, I want to actually do the pull request properly. I've realized there are a few things that need to be done a little bit better here. That one as well, and it's already got the right naming in it, and everything else can stay the same. All right. Save that. And it's important to have the pull requests in there. So I've been trying to get pull requests and issues being created in a sensible way so that anybody that wants to contribute can actually do so. And to that end, we also have project create PR. And this creates special files, which if we have a look over here, refresh those, yeah. Template files that say this is the pull request template that says what to do if you're creating a pull request, and if you're doing an issue template you can do a bug report and it gives you some guidance on what to do, which you might have seen elsewhere as well. Same goes for feature requests, so we can give people a bit of a hand on doing that. So all of this is, the idea is to make it easier for somebody to actually work with it. And there's also GitLab versions as well. So issue templates here, merge request templates all set up. So if you wanted to use those, you can. But we're using GitHub, so we only have those ones. If we have a look in here now, Git status, oh, got loads more files. GitHub, issue template, code owners, pull request templates. Add, and that's exactly the message I want. That's cool. That's not AI suggesting that. Those are lines from my history that it's pulling out and going, you probably want to use this. Not so much you probably want to use this. This is the last command that matched what you typed. There is also a bug in RO build. So this is generated by Riscos project create CI. And in here, we do generate a makefile and then rm load an AIF file, which was really stupid. It's a cut and paste bug that I left in. So I've fixed that on my local version, but I've not published it to myself yet. And that's also wrong. That shouldn't insert, should install. Oh dear. There's lots of bits that are broken here. Anyway. Right. With that done, we should now be able to go and git commit -a, add CI running the project. Should now be able to be tested when it is pushed. Okay, and we will push that to here, and it'll turn up in here. And if we reload the page, we should now see pending dot there, and we can go to actions and see that it's already started running the CI on there to test that it works. We have a quick look at it and see it was successful. It built it, and then it ran it, and it produced a message saying that's all it does. Okay, nearly 20 minutes in, and we've done nothing. I've explained what we've done, what we're doing. I've put together a basic repository with all of the bits in that you need to do. Some help in the pull request. So if you were to create a new pull request, it would do a new pull request there, and it doesn't suggest anything. Issues, I think, does suggestions. So if you go to issues and click new issue, it'll suggest the bug report. So we actually do a bug report, and then that text that we saw turns up here, and you can preview what it'll look like and see that it's going to look quite nice, which is all helpful to me if somebody wants to submit something to me to say that they've got an issue. Okay, right, I guess we need to write some code then, don't we? We've done all the easy bit. It's now the actual thinking part. So what I'm going to mention is, what I'm going to show is this. So this is G-context, the graphics context that I've been using in many different projects. So this is used in Presenter, in the UI. I don't know if people saw the Clay layout example and the micro UI layout examples that we had. I posted last year, but they all use this as the back end of it, and it's just a very simple library that provides a context that lets you. I'll show the H file, actually be a bit easier. It defines a structure that's got rectangle fills, outlines, triangles, lines, dotted lines, dashed lines, fills, text operations, finding fonts, getting the string size, getting the size of the font itself, and doing some clipping as well. It's also got paint attributes, which means that you can do things like left and vertical, horizontal and vertical alignment, and doing underlines and things. And the idea of the library is, although it works only at the moment with the VDU system, replacing all the functions underneath it with, let's say, PostScript or SVG or something else, you can just make it into use something else. That's the idea anyway. It may not be perfect, but that's where I'm going with it. It's really quite rudimentary as it goes, but it does the job. As you can see, it's actually dated 2006 because that's when I originally wrote it for. What did I write it for? I think this was an outgrowth of the Mozilla project, building the Mozilla browser. Anyway, yeah, I think it was something like that. I don't really remember, but one of those things. So this is quite a simple library. It's actually built as a library here. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, maybe I should actually move it into a proper library, because this is inside micro UI. This is where this is. If I made it into a proper library, then we could actually start using it more readily, couldn't we? Should we do that now? I hear a voice from the other room say, yeah, go on. Right, so we're going to slightly divert from doing make the text rendering stuff to make this a library instead. So let's do that. First thing to do, let's create a new repository. Viscos G context. I say I'm using this in quite a few things. So a Viscos graphics context abstraction, and it is really quite rudimentary, honest. So do not be at all surprised when you see it and you go, oh yeah, that's a bit simple. So we'll create a new tab on here. Let's get clone. Let's copy that. There. Paste. Yeah, clone that one. Thank you very much. You appear to have cloned an empty repository. I know. And then I'm just gonna all of this lot here. I'm going to just copy the whole lot. So easiest way to do that is copy file path and do cd viscos g context cp paste everything that's inside there to here. Oh, recursively. Okay. We don't need any of the O directories or the built directory for now, just so we have a nice thing, nice and clean. Commit -a. Oh, add it first. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Make file C and H. There we go. Git commit -a. So this is initial import of the G context from micro UI used in many others. We can just use the interface for basic operations in our code and have the low level annotations hidden from us. And almost certainly this will be insufficient for what we're doing, but it should be good enough. Okay, status. So all we have in here is a C file, a H file, and a make file. That make file is executable. It is executable. It builds it. That's quite cute. Yeah, we have the nice little header on the front of it saying "run amu" with this file. That's quite cute. All right. So there we are. Next things we need is the same things we just did on the other project. Viscos project creates Git. So create the Git control files. Add Git attributes and Git ignore. Management. Ignore and .git attributes. Oops. Ensure the files come out right. Say that as well. And we want to do the PR bits as well. That line there, and PR and issues templates. And we want to do the CI bits as well. Project create CI, and I'm going to have to fix it again as well, aren't I? Recompare dot against dot dot slash viscos wimp text render. Right, what bits did I fix? So there's these bits here, pull requests, that section, and the concurrency bit. And everything else is about the text rendering or G context. All right, good. Okay. So let's. Oh, and there was also something in RO build, wasn't there? Oh yeah, that. Oh no, this is just a library, so it just doesn't make export. So quite easy. libdir dot. That doesn't look right either. That's very sad. I don't know. I'm not sure what that should be actually. It's libdir dot gcontext. Is that even right? I don't know. Well, we'll find out. Okay, so that's that file done. Oh, code owners. Did code owners get set up properly? It did. It got set up with Gerph. Good. Excellent. Status add.github /workflows CI and RO build. Minimize A and CI build for this project. On push, sorry, not on startup. Brain's just running, fingers are running over without brain thinking. All right, let's push that. So here's the repository. You'll be able to see the marvelous things that are in there. If we reload it, we can now see it's doing stuff. As always, if people see problems with it, if there are bugs, if there are deficiencies, you can raise issues. You can even go and fix them if you want. Create a pull request, and I can merge them in, and we can have a better environment from it. So if I look at the actions, we'll see here it's actually built it. And if we have a look on there, 162 bytes does not look like it really has found anything in there. So I think exports lib gcontext archive file 24 bytes. Yeah, that's not right. So in the oops, no, where's my window gone? That's, oh, did I not open it? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll add it here. Oh, it's moved off that window. I can't edit. Project, add folder to project. I've upgraded, and MacOS does these stupidly rounded corners, and there's little corners on these, so everything looks like really makes me twitch a little. Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of things in here. It's this one here at the top. That's handy. Right, open that. Here we go. Here's gcontext. What was I doing? Oh, I was updating the RO build, wasn't I? Because on this libdir gcontext, that's not right. So exports lib gcontext. I think that's right. It'll do for now. Let's see whether that works. Ooh. Viscos UK says they downgraded because they really hated it. I can understand that. Unfortunately, I've got to use it at work because that's the we've got to keep everything up to date, and so I'm trying to keep things as close as possible. But those corners are just so very harsh. It really is. Ugh. There's a lot of other things. I mean, the terminal I've got here used to have little round buttons on it. It felt like OpenLook. Is it OpenLook? OpenLook window manager gadgets. Open pickies. Come on, give me some pictures. Maybe I should have clicked images. Maybe that would have been a better idea. It's always a risk clicking images on here. That looks kind of like Open Look Window Manager. So, oh, that's not actually. Sorry. Open Step. Open Step. That'll probably be what it was. Okay. Why did that picture not come up? I don't know why that didn't work. I want that picture there. Open image. Open image in new tab. Is that going to give me a nice big one? No. There you go. So that's the sort of thing you got. These rounded things, and that's what it was doing here on the windows here, and it's like and we're calm. Open Step. Everybody's telling me it's Open Step. I'm fine. Yes, because Open Step was the yeah. Hello, the code guy. Right, sorry, just I was ranting about the latest update, Tahoe, to macOS, and its rounded window corners, and yeah. I don't know, you can't find me. It's been many days. How are you? Oh, good. Right, I'm trying to remember what I was doing. Oh, there was a guy who was having some problems. Yeah, nice to see you. I hope things are going well. What I'm trying to do at the moment is we're trying to do text rendering for the window manager, but we've got on a side project to go and instead do the graphics library so that we actually build the text manager, the text rendering for the window manager. What am I doing? Update the artifacts to point to the library. Built library. They're suggesting bring back Catalina. Yes. Update the artifacts to point to built library. The library wasn't exporting properly. I'll do push, and we'll bounce her back over here and have a look at the actions and see whether that built it properly. Again, this should be something that's a little bit easier to do. Maybe no, it shouldn't just be easier to do. The template that I generated should have done it for us. No, it's done it wrong again because it's given me only 24 bytes. Exports lib gcontext. Isn't that right? Or do we not expand? I don't know why we actually expand that. The artifacts should be expanded. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, I know what's wrong with that. $.exports. Well, I think I know what's wrong with that. I've done this before, haven't I? I've done this before inside DARM and Armadillo. So if I've done it before, I should be able to go and do it again. Duplicate this tab and then replace this with Gerph/DARM. Because if I've done it before, I didn't want that. I wanted the RO build file, which is there. If I've done it before, oh, I do it this way. I copy it out at the end. Oh, that actually makes more sense. Yeah, we'll do that. In fact, we can actually copy the text of this as well and then just replace it. That sounds like this would be a better idea for the template to do as well. I've got some template updating to do later then, I suppose. create the exports artifacts directory. It doesn't need to be up, it needs to be just there. Copy the library to there, and then it's success, and then we can just say artifacts. Right, let's go and update that. Commit mosaic, amend, and then push. Yeah, do it, please. Let's have another look at it. Oh. Spanner says I can have 4 different windows open, all with different corner radii. Oh dear, that didn't work. Oh, that went bad. What do we do there? Oh, I didn't rename anything, did I? I'm so stupid. G context. Okay. And repeat. I hope that some of this is interesting. I mean, it's literally just doing administrative things at the moment, but I hope it's vaguely interesting nonetheless. Oh, still failed. Oh, come on. Oh, I missed an up dot in there. Get rid of that as well. Recommit it and push. Do it all again. At least it's failing quite quickly, which is nice. The idea of failing fast really does help. I mean, I'd rather it not fail at all, but okay. So now if we have a look, we can have a look at the summary here, and we see 27K. That's more like it. So I just clicked on that to download it. There we go, downloaded. Come on, can I have a window, please? Thank you. Right, pop you up over here. Here's my library. Here's G context. There we are. So that looks like it's actually expanded, got all the files in there. And if we just go and dump that up there, I do CD, and just CD into that directory, please. Come on. The other thing that Tahoe seems to be slow at is if I'm sharing things in Zoom, it seems to go a lot slower. So I'm a little bit concerned about that because it makes sharing the screen really difficult. Doing it in OBS here is absolutely fine, but with Zoom, it's cripplingly bad. So I'm worrying about that. So if we have a look at those, so just check what they are, what we think they are. Context 32. This is where it doesn't work, isn't it? Yeah, it's an archive file. It's got the archives in it, and yeah, that looks like all the functions we wanted. Excellent, cool. And can't even get me blooming underscores in the right, underlines in the right place. I'll fix that as well. This is part of my build environment. It can list archive files and things, so we can see stuff. We can also see that if we have a look at these should have been exported properly as well. Yeah, that looks like it's been exported properly. Awesome. We could probably do some tests in this library, but I'll do that separately, I think, because trying to make a library do testing and be like working properly isn't actually what we're intending to do here. We're trying to just focus on the text rendering. Go back to where we were. So I suppose that means we need to do a release, don't we? We need to do a release. If we need to do a release, what do we need a version num file to say what version it is. So vmanage init version 0.01. So that'll give us a version num file. There we go. And then commit that. Add a version. Oops. Make sure we've exported it locally as well. Oh, and we probably want to export it as 64-bit as well. It does obviously work in 64-bit as well. Dave's currently using his 2013 trash can Mac, which is a really nice machine. I mean, it's been superseded, obviously, but it's still a really nice machine. It was quite powerful in its day. That still is quite powerful. Viscos UK says the guy that designed it has gone to Meta, so hopefully that next release will be better. I really hope so. I don't know whether people really complain about this sort of thing, but they're cheap, says Dave about the trash cans. Right, so this will get us the version num file added to there, and then we also want to tag as v 0.01 and push that v 0.01 to origin. There we are. And then if we look in the actions, we should see version 1.01 has been created. And once that completes, should be in a moment, about 14 seconds, there we are. We can then go to the releases list here, and we can see we have our release. Simple release of the first G-context library for graphics operations. In the Viscos experimental the micro UI and clay and a number of other kernel things. Publish release. Right, so that release is now there, which is cool, and we can go back to text rendering. So in the text rendering library, we should be able to just update this so that we can actually do something simple. What should we make it do? Let's put a name in this, shall we? Let's also try and remember how to work it, because I've forgotten. How do we use it? G-context init view, that's how we use it, and one for which you use fonts. Fair enough. So hash include g-context slash g-context. That should be g-context t, shouldn't it? context equals, we want some fonts, please. Okay, almost certainly we're going to need to update the library, but for now we're just going to try and do something. Gcontext to, how do we draw a rectangle? Rectangle, some color, and then some coordinates. Rectangle, fill, context, color, 813979000. That's my old phone number, which just happens to be a quite nice purple. Or it ought to be a quite nice purple. We'll see whether it is or not. And I want to draw it from 64, 64, all the way up to 500, 500. There we go. And we'll do some text as well. Likelihood of this working is obviously pretty low because I'm just writing it from bits that are in here. Find font. And then, so we do a find font, and then we do a, all right, we'll come back to the font bits. We'll just see whether we've actually got a rectangle working and proving that it is basically working, shall we? Viscous ammo. Yes, we need to link with it. So minimize, go to there, and we need to tell it the library is c:0 dot. No, c:\g context dot o dot lib g context. Build mutter. Why did that not? Oh, I put it in defines. Oh, that's really dumb. I meant to put it in libs. Ooh, are we excited? Are we excited? Common, WX Windows, and GOS. There we are. We have a window. AIF.AF32. Sorry. Dot. Wimp text render. That is not purple. Under what? Oh, hang on. Echo 22. Switch to mode 28. Try it again. That's better. So we were probably in mode 27, so we didn't have as many colors. So we now have a very simple way of rendering things, which is kind of cool, really. The discussion on the chat is following the Mac and Apple things, yeah, Apple Silicon is definitely the way that it's going now, and honestly, it's very fast. It's very nice to use, even with Rosetta doing the emulation. It's pretty good. Yeah, you can see slowdowns on things, but yeah, I'm quite impressed. Actually, the screensaver I use on my work Mac, because I haven't bought myself an Apple Silicon one. The screensaver I use is actually an x86 screensaver or x64 screensaver, and the whole thing is running really quite smoothly as a screensaver, drawing some quite pretty maps of the world with real-time data on. I'm really very, very impressed with it. It did run Pyromaniac quite slowly, so I was a little bit sad at that, but then Pyromaniac runs slowly and it's doing dynamic compilation of things that it's then executing, so it's not at all surprising that it's going to run slow. Yeah. Oh, and I was running under Linux at the time, so I was running it on macOS on ARM, running Linux on ARM, which was then executing a Docker container that was an x86 Docker container that was executing ARM code that had been jittered for Riscos. It worked at all, was blooming amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I'm wittering. What we should be doing here is making sure that this is going to work. So the best thing we can do with this is, oh yeah, we want to, how do we actually get the things to link? How did it, I've done this, haven't I? So in the debugger, I pulled in DOM and armadillo. So presumably I'd already solved this. And I'm pretty sure at the time when I did this, I went, oh yeah, it's dead easy, you just do this. And it just worked. What did we do? Did we download it here? Download the armadillo library, then extract it. Oh, okay. So that was all we did. Well, that's quite cute. So we do the same with DOM and armadillo. Well, in which case then we'll do that here as well. Yeah, so there's the build client. Paste, obtain the gcontext library. Output as libgcontext. I want the location of that other library, so not that one. Not, no. Can we go back to, there we go, release. Locate this, copy, paste. No, not that, it's not the text. Copy the link. Copy link address. Better. Unzip it. Gcontext. Oh, I haven't got ROZip installed, so that needs, I would have done something with that, wouldn't I? Go forwards again to that one. Get the build client. There we go. That's where we get the archive manager. I wonder if I should have this automatic built in as a command in the build environments. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? The get this library, get this file as a library. Have lib/gcontext. I don't want lib armadillo, I need gcontext there. Archive everything and send it to the build server, which presumably means that we had something special in there to move the libraries around or something. In RO build, do something in there. We change the C path so we include, that's cute, yeah. All right, let's copy that and put that into the Riscos build file, which is this one here. See, I always reuse things that I've done previously. There is very little that I will create from scratch if I can help it. Use gcontext library to draw on screen. Pull in the gcontext lib and then use it in our build. Push. Right, are we going to think this will work, or are we going to think it'll fail abysmally? Also, where is my, have I closed the, I've closed the window. Now, just reopen it, I suppose. New tab to the right, Wimp text, that one there. go to the actions. Ooh, there we go. Now, of course, we don't actually have a screen here, but it will still try to do it. And that will give us nothing useful, but we'll still have got something out. Additionally, we could do a screen save there and see that it's working. I don't think I'm going to do that, but we could. All right, so now we've got that simple library for graphics operations, and we've got our very simple code that we're using for just doing a basic render to the screen. So the next thing along is to start building some functions that we can actually use that are kind of like the way that the Wimp text rendering works. Actually, the real part of this project. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not particularly surprising that we get an hour into it and all we've done is just like drawn a rectangle on the screen. It's a bit sad, really, isn't it? Hey ho, this is where we are. So let us give this a whirl. Just before I do that, let's very quickly just build this for 64-bit. Just because we can. I like to be sure that things work. Built for 64-bit, PyroDev, run that in 64-bit. Window, please. I've added a new feature to Viscous Pyromaniac. It will open the window on the same display that your pointer is, so I don't have to keep dragging it off from another monitor. So if we have a look in there, we can see there's lots of files in there, and in AF64 we have Wimp text render, which does that echo 2228. There we go. Mode 28. There we go. So even in 64-bit, this is still working as well. There we go. I feel very, very smug and pleased with myself. I mean, I've literally only drawn a rectangle, but no big deal. Anyway, let us start doing some actual coding. Let's have, we'll call it text render. Okie dokie. So this is text render rendering interface for the window manager. So is Wimp dollar font. There we go. So text render. Yeah, we'll put text render. Why not? Text render init. Maybe not init. Yeah, we'll call it init. Why not? Initialize parameters. None. So just thinking, actually we probably want to pass in a context, don't we? So we pass in a G context so we can actually know that what we're doing. Or do we assume it's global? Boop, 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 boop. Or do we allow text rendering to be an instantiable thing and have it as an object that contains all the context for working with it? So if we make it into an instantiable thing that I can actually have multiple of them, then in theory you could actually have one per application, and you could have different Wimp fonts for each application or something. or to more concurrent wimps. Yeah. Yeah, old school comment blocks are I find incredibly useful. Not only do they tell me what I'm doing and remind me what it is without me having to infer that from the code, but also they mean that anybody else coming along can actually try and see some of my intent rather than having to guess what I was trying to do. That's the idea anyway. Yeah, not sure it always helps, but yeah. Is it going to hurt to have a separate context? Oh, it's not going to hurt. I mean, we can always have just one of them. Struct text render underscore s. And we probably then want to have a font t that is the font for this. I'll leave it at that for now. Dave says, in general, avoid globals. Yeah, that was also something I was kind of thinking. If you avoid globals, then we can, at the very least, have some way of abstracting things in the future and making things more generic. Parameters, gcontext. Because in theory, we could have a gcontext per application or per window, and then it gives us an ability to try and separate this stuff. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but it means we've got to allocate memory, doesn't it? Yeah, well, doesn't matter. Text render underscore t star tr t render. Well, I'll call it t render. Calloc bracket size of star t render. If t render. See, this is stuff that probably AI could do much better. Because you could just tell it, oh, create me something like this, and it would go off and do it. And, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just not intelligent enough to do these newfangled things yet. Although work is convincing me to try and do things that way. So font equals. I suppose we need to get a font out of this. How did we do this? So I could really have some comments on this. Find font, font name, font size. Fair enough. Actually, you know what I'll do? We'll set it to null, and then we'll have something that goes and establishes the font from the variable. Because then when your screen mode changes or whatever, you can then go and pull it out. T render, okay, or tender even. Okay. So text render set font. And that takes a text render. I'm wondering if that should just be called a text render instead of a T render. Set the font for the text rendering operations. Points to the there we go. Nothing in there. So const char star font equals getEnv to a font. Oh no, I've put it in a blooming variable, so I wouldn't need to do that thing. If font null Now, if it's not equal to null, then we need to get a font handle. Let's call that font name actually, because we're going to have a separate font object as well. So we're going to want a font t here. So we have a look back in here. We want a font t, text find font, context, name, size. So font equals, oh, I forgot what it's called already. Text font find font. So t render 2, g context 2, text find font, font name, x size, y size. Right, so we need to find out what the size should be as well. X size. Wimp. Font. X size is it 12 times 6 to 12 points initially? I think it's 12 points. And then there's a second variable, which is it font width? Oh, I don't remember what the variables are. Wimp font variables on Viscos. Wimp $font. Nope. Maybe. What does that say? Font name. That isn't true, is it? Yay, well done. I don't think this is particularly helpful. Font size. Ah, there we go. Look, it found it way down here. Font size. Font size and font width. I knew there was a font width in there somewhere. Size var is size. I pressed the wrong button again. And font width is the other one. I probably want to include some headers here, don't we? So we want to include gcontext/gcontext.h, and we also want to include the text render header that we haven't created yet. Env wimp font size var. If size is not equal to null, we want to be in int 32 equals wimp x size. That one there, please. If size is not equal to null, value equals a twice size. Yeah. If value equals I'm not actually sure if it works with read unsigned or not. If it equals null equals naught, or value is greater than 6 times 16. Other way around. It's valid if it's greater than naught and it's less than that. X size value. Oh, and Y size will be set to. I didn't do that, did I? Y size equals value. And then width repeat. And just set the X size to that. Is that the way it works, or does it work the different way around? If the size is unset, a value of 12 points, yes. If the width is unset, is it the same size as the size? Yeah, so size comes first, then we go into width. That's fair enough. Really, I should rework this code into a little function that I can call to get those variables, I think. Just size is a const. Ooh, thank you very much. Yes, you're quite right. That's much better. Okay, so that's where we get the font out, and then we can assign the font to the. Oh, hang on. What do we get? So I think a font T can come out as font none when no font can be returned. That's okay. If you've got 2 X sizes. Thank you. At least somebody's paying attention, because I'm clearly not. If trender to font is not equal to font none, don't lose that. Okay, so he's changing his name to Norcroft. Norcroft's the compiler name. And he just validates things before I'm doing. Actually, it's interesting because usually I'd get some help from the linter would pull things out, but it isn't telling me anything at the moment. Interesting. So I'll lose the font there, and then we can say trender to font equals font none. And then at this point we can do font equals. Actually, no, I don't need that there because I can just assign it to font. Font name equals no. Else. They didn't configure a font in the variable. Fall back to defaults. Fix me. We should use the configured font here. But we're not. We're just going to go and put everything back to be font none. That's redundant. There and there. Calloc syntax is wrong. It is, isn't it? Yes, because that is one object of size trender. Yeah, it's better. Thank you very much, Dave. We could probably do with actually compiling this and seeing whether it's working, merely because I'd like to be able to find some bugs myself rather than just have Dave just pull them out all the time. But I need to create this header file first. So let's do that now. New folder, H. So new file, text render, sorry. And it's going to be the same as this. Oop, no, stop it. Copy, paste, and then we just cut out all of the implementation. Oh, in fact, that wouldn't work because I've got a semicolon on the end of it anyway. And if, oh, except I want the semicolon here. This goes out of here like that. Include G context. Don't need text render because that's recursive. We don't want the variables, but we do want a type def here. So type def, there's the text render, T. That. I'm going to take a break in a minute or two anyway. So if I'm going to get something on the screen, text render, and then text render. Define text render. Okay, toggle back to this window, and then we'll take off the semicolon that was here. And I think we just need to update the make file to say use it. O.text render. And we probably want to actually call it from somewhere, so we call it from in here. That's interesting. I haven't included any actual draw anything calls, so we're going to still have to do something a bit nasty, but it doesn't matter. Oh no! Oh, we're going to actually have to. Oh! I'm just frustrated now. So text render underscore t render equals star t render, sorry, equals text render init, and then init, and then t render to text render underscore set font. Set the fonts up. Okay. Nothing will appear on the screen, but at least we'll have it running. So let's just build that. Don't know how to make. Didn't I export that? I'm sure I exported. Oh. Hello. Export. We did export that, didn't we? And then in this one, is the context wrong for this build? I think the context is wrong for that build. Oh. Why don't you know how to make it? Because it should have the same context. Oh, I'm just going to build it through this. I'm going to have to look into this elsewhere because that should have worked, I thought. Yeah, it's building here. Well, it's not building here. You know what I mean. Can't find calloc. Can't find. Oh, yeah, okay. So we got lots of things missing. Include studlib. Include. I'm going to want studio eventually, and I'm definitely going to want studint. Build. Missing semicolon. Declaration of t render. Oh, this is from writing Python too much. Declaration of that was in main, wasn't it? Sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. Spotted that one. Let's kill the thingy there. And does it cast a pointer as non-equal pointer at line 79? Font. Is that in the function arguments? So font name, X size, Y size. Oh, I know what that is. Pointer not. No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. T render. Oh dear. G context. There, that's better. Differing pointer not equals at line 80. Ah, because it's not a font star, it's just a font. Okay, Build that again. Hang on. No, don't hang on. It's all right. I'm just late 82 and 92. Yeah, again, I've forgotten to pass in the graphics context to the function. This is where C++ with its implicit self really helps. But hey ho, that's just life. Okay. Maybe I should be writing in C++. Maybe I should make that easier. Wrong number of parameters to text render init in main. Oh yeah, you need to pass in the context. There we are. Well, I was meaning C++ in the sense of structures that have implicit objects on them. That's basically it. Because I'm still a bit too old school for those sorts of things. Right, let's see what we get out of this, shall we? So hopefully this will work and it will come up with something. I mean, it won't print. It'll not crash. Is what I'm meaning. Sorry. Text render, 64-bit absolute. Wrong version of text render. Run the 32-bit version. Okay, so 32-bit version hasn't crashed. It hasn't lost the thing, but we do need to be able to have just do a font render. So let's just add a very rudimentary function that just goes draw some text somewhere. Paint. Draw some simple text. Rendering context. Text into render x position Now this is not going to be at all good or anything. It's just going to be a let's draw something. Text x y. And what we do out of that is we need to probably just call t render. This is frustrating having to write it like this. Maybe I should have a little macro that does g context call or something. Lose font text paint text x y. Oh, we also need a color, don't we? Yeah, we should really have that as defined as a color T or something, shouldn't we? Because then we've got a bit more semantic and usage in there. Right, now is that actually how you use it? No, that's not the one. Oh, come on. Did I not open the header? There we are, there's the header. Right, so paint has a font handle. Oh, we need to get the font handle. X bottom, Y bottom, background, foreground, string and string size. Okay, I think that's just my warning to say that I need. It's nearly break time. Yeah, it's my warning. Okay, pick that up. Oops, no, pick it up and go back into here. So this is how text paint works. We need a font handle. So that's trender to font. And then we have the X and the Y. And then we have, oh, yes, let's have BGMFG. These can actually probably go into the context, can't they, the colors? Because then we can just do set colors and then use it. BGFG. No, I put those in the wrong place. they should be here. BG, FG, and then the text string, which is text, and we're going to say that the length. I have a feeling that -1 means all of it. I'm not actually sure, but that's the way I would have written that code. It would be nice if I actually included a bit of documentation that told me that. But we can have a look at the C file, I suppose. This is why you absolutely should document things in your headers. It's not in there. It'll be in font then. So let's look for the paint function. Or -1 for all of it, which is, ooh, 0 terminated. So we're going to have to think about this because 0 termination is not the expectation for a lot of the Wimp. Right, is that going to build? Probably not. It did. Good, so we can try using it then. So we do text render paint. Oh, I've already forgotten the blooming thing. I need to copy all of that to here. Oh, and the function there, the prototype as well. Yeah, we should make those into color tees or something. Are they color tees in here? No, they're just uint32s. We need to change those, so we can change those in the library at some point. Back to main. If anybody here has spent any time writing, not using but writing, a language service provider, please come and get in touch with me, because I want to get something for Riscos and I haven't yet done so. Like everything, there's lots of things to do, but the LSP is quite a nice system. And then another color. Let's have a nice pink, shall we? So FF888800, some text, hello world, and we'll put that at 64,800. All right. Not likely to work, this is it. We're going to get something wrong. I always say it's going to fail because then when it works, I'm pleasantly surprised. There we go, move that up there a little bit, and dun dun dun. Ooh, hello world. That is not a font. That is not a font. However, set wimp $font to be homerton.medium, and it still won't work because we still haven't got a font system present. How do we set the font system up? Oh, I can't remember. Cairo. Fonts, font config, font standard. That's how we do it. Maybe I should put those into a special thing on my command line. There we go. Now if we do that, this is where I find this still doesn't work. Let's have a go. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, I started the 64-bit, but oh, you stupid person. Right, okay. Not the 64-bit version. 32-bit version, please. I've got those things concatenated. There we go. I wonder if I could get it to remember where it was last time. That might be quite nice as well. That was like it trying to get the font list and then deciding, nah, I'm not going to do that. Font list. Font cat. Yeah, we have a lot of fonts there. So it knows the font system knows that it's active. Homerton medium. That's purple. That is not pink. Oh, colours are back to front in Riscos. It's BGR, not RGB. Yeah, RGB is R is at low end. So that's why I got that wrong. But it still doesn't get me the font. Maniac. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Pyro debug. Font calls, please. Font manager there, and font. So let's do font, font manager. I didn't do any debug. Why didn't you do that? Is it because you can't specify commas in that? That works. Maybe there's, I don't know. That still didn't do anything. Fonty. Why didn't it do anything fonty? That's a medium. That feels a bit wrong. Because that, look, I've got variables that are set and it hasn't found them. And my debug didn't tell me anything, which was odd. I'm just looking at the application here. See if there's any other information I can get out of it. No, that should have. Font manager. I thought that should have given me some debug. Why am I not getting debug? What have I done wrong here? Paragraphs, font config, yes. Font standard, yes. That should propagate them all to be working. Yeah, let's accelerate this a bit by doing boot debug fonts, font manager. And command AF32 dot Wimp text render. So it'll just like race through it. But no font calls being debugged. Why? Why no font calls? Maniac, okay, pyro dev, and list debug. Is there anything else I've missed in here? Surely not. Video colors, video outputs. Graphic system. That's for the null renderer. Other than the font ones there, I don't see anything else. Font manager, font parser. I'll stick font parser in there as well and see if that gives me anything. Nothing. feel very dumb now. Why is this not giving me something? Because I'm sure we've had font debug coming out before. WX list debug. Does it change when I switch it to WX using Cairo? Is there a graphics debug in here? Graphics, graphics WS, graphics with plot, clip. So maybe I could turn on plot debug in there and just see if that gives me something. Is there anything else? Is there a Cairo one in here? No. Font manager, fonts. At this rate, I'm going to have to go to the source code, which is not very reassuring. I just want to get something on the screen before I have a break. That's all I want to do. Plot was the other thing there, wasn't it? So let's do plot. Okay, so plot told me something, but it didn't tell me we were doing anything with the graphic, the font system. Oh, you pulled this up over here. Okay, fine. Let's bounce that over this way. Come on, here you go. Right. So let's have a look in font manager. Dot by. Okay, so this is the init code. I'm going to look in here. Debug font manager is that one there. So font manager. Whenever debug font manager is hit, claiming font. So font manager hasn't even printed out any messages about claiming the font V. So something odd is happening here. Something odd. Am I dumb? I mean, I clearly am being dumb. Yeah, anytime you call a SWI, it should go through font V, if font V was configured, which I'm pretty sure we do. Primitive list config font manager. No, we don't go through font V. Well, we can turn that on. I mean, that'll at least give us something and tell us what we're doing. Config font manager dot font V. So together with the font manager debug, we should at least get something starting up. Oh, equals yes. Sorry. It is vaguely possible that we might have bugs in my Pyromaniac code, because that was odd. That was very odd, wasn't it? Yeah, we tried to write to address 8. That's not very good. Inside font, find font. That's not right. That would be very bad, in fact. What did we try and do? So this is the code here. Code that was trying to do it was, yeah, 1086, so something that was writing to address 8, so probably that one there. 7, R7 contains, yeah, looks like it was that. No, that's really weird. Okay, so we have bugs. This is not the end of the world, but also that didn't start doing anything until I turned font V on, which is very odd. config trace.trace swytrap. Font. So there we go. There's the call to find font. Font 192 not found. Yeah. How dumb was I here? So there's my text font, text paint, render to font. So this is set font, isn't it? Font name var. Oh, there's only one environment pointer in get from getenv. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe I need to copy that font. Maybe I need to copy it. Or I need to get it again. Maybe I should get it again down here. I don't want to get it twice. That's just very inefficient. Copying it isn't very efficient either. We'll just get it again for now. Work out what to do about it in a little bit. Not build. Where's my ammo? There you go. And run it again. I think that did the right thing. And look, font manager calls now. Maybe font manager isn't actually debugging when it actually gets a find font call. Regardless, let's go and just turn off the traps there, and instead of that let's go into GOS so we can actually run it and see what's going on. Okay, AF32.wimp text render, and that's a font. So set wimp $font to be trinity.medium and do the rendering again. Oh, let's change mode. 2228. Trinity medium. Hey, let's make the font a bit bigger. Font size. Set eval. 24 times 16. Render. There we go. It comes up bigger. And if we do it with width 32 times 16, it's come out wider. Right. We know we've not done this right. We know it's not correct. But we do also know that we've got something on the screen. Add a simple test for rendering a line of text. Okay. We can push that now, and I can go and take a break. Little break for about 10-15 minutes, and we'll see whether we get anything useful out of this. All right, add simple test for rendering live text. Here's the test code running, and now it's completed, finished already. Very nice. Awesome. That was very painful, wasn't it? yeah, time for drink. Ooh, I don't know if I've got any pineapple juice, but I may grab some Coke. Yeah. All right. See you in a little bit. In a bic. I may have a bic as well. Back in 10 to 15 minutes, about 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. All right. See you in a little bit. Bye. Hello again. Oh, sorry about that. Took a little bit of a detour as a friend gave me a call. I was trying to catch up with someone, and turns out they're in Africa. Like, okay, fine. That's not what I expected. Right. So what we're doing? We are starting on doing simple text. And one of the things that went wrong here was the reading the font name and the details ended up causing us problems because there's only a single variable available, and this, as I mentioned, was this should really be all in one function. We should have something that says get me the font. So let's do that. So text render not get font, read the font should be used for this context. Parameters should be the text render context. Oh no, that's the prototype. I don't want. Oh dear, get your head in gear. Yeah, I'm confused now. So trender. Rendering context, and I want a buffer to populate. So I want the to populate font to use. Right, so this is a text render read fonts. It's one of those, and we want a right. And we'll make this a void for now. Right, so the thing that we're going to get here is a desktop font. So let's put that into the header file. Struct desktop. Font name. Font name max. And to you input it, it's okay. Of X. Not sure why I did that. It deleted the line. That was a magic key press. X size and Y size. Anything else we need out of that? No, I think that's good. So then what we can do is we can take all of this code here up to about that point, cut that out and put it in here. If it's not equal to null, right, first thing to do is to copy that font name. String copy to desktop font. So was it I'm going to call it font name? I called it font name. Font name of length from font name. Maximum length is size of desktop font name. So I'll get us the font name in a static block that we've actually got allocated. So we've actually copied it. Good. Got the sizes here being calculated there. And then we don't need to do that. At which point we get to here and we've actually got everything correct. Ooh, except because you could have the font read font from NVRAM. Font name equals, no, if font name is null, oh, we know it's null because it's, this is the null case. Sorry, I'm being very distracted at the minute because a phone call earlier. That's a bit, yeah. What is the default font name for a T-render context? I'll say that there is one for a rendering context, because then you can have a default font for a given window or something. Should be quite cute. That gets the font name, and again, if font name, copy it. Size should be here. The default should be desktop font to font name. No font. Yeah. Font size. Do. Those are the defaults there. Yeah, that looks good. So then we can go and populate that into desktop font X size, and Y size into there. So that means we've now got all the parameters we need, and the font name has been set to empty. Should I say it's empty, or should we actually have a separate boolean that says system fonts? It'd be easier than doing a comparison, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm not really that, shouldn't really be that concerned about saving that much space. System font. So there we go. So we set the font name to be that, and we set desktop font to system font equals true. And then if we get a font name, we set it to false. Yeah, I know the not equal to null is not necessary, but it also, in my view, it shows intent. I'm intending this to compare against null, not I'm just expecting it to not be a value that's true. Which might seem a bit weird, but that's what I'm doing. Dum, dum, dum. Right, so now when we set the font, we have desktop font T DTF, and then we call text render read font T render into DTF. if DTF dot system font actually that's kind of interesting. So regardless, we want to lose the font. And if it's not if it's the system font, we set it to none. Otherwise, actually we probably should set it to none there just in case that find font fails. Oh, if that find font fails, then we go to none. Oh, that's actually fine, isn't it? Because none is the case for using the system font. And we're then set. I think that still should work. I think that's okay. Build. Not good. Okay. Font name max. Oh yeah, because that was in here, wasn't it? Let's just define that. I don't know what the max is, but I've seen 80 on some things, but I think 256 is probably what is sensible here. No system. Excuse me. Oh, very sorry. Oh, I've got sneeze-ums. Blah. Right, so string copy, we need to be string.h. There. System. Oh. 61. System fonts, that should have been. Bum, 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 bum. There we are. Oh. What else we got? Yeah, there's the default one. And then we've got all these down here. Oh, that's because, yes, when we're doing the find font, we're not actually using the DTF dot font name. Size, white size, better. Right. Use font, use font. Font equals, oh yeah, font. Font. T font. That should be assigned to the font there, and I think we're happy. That could probably go in here. Right. So the only thing we've got now is get default font name, I think. And variable font club is 103. Yeah, so I declared it in here because we're not actually getting the font, we're actually just getting the variables. Okay. That's cute, isn't it? References to get end. Calls there. Open tab to the right. Ooh! More cute things. How do I close that tab now? Do I just need to change it to single view? Single. View. Layout. If I close it, does it vanish? It vanished. Okay, those are interesting. I've not seen it do that before, but that's kind of cute nonetheless. So I need this, yeah, the good default font. Right, here we go, this thing, which is const char star to text render to render. Configured. Font name or null if using system font. Oops, didn't mean to put that in there. Fix me. Read the NVRAM configuration. There we go. We return null. Okay. What do we reckon? That seems sensible. Implicit return in non-void function at line 54. What? Oh, did I not save that? Better. Add the refactor. Different mechanism. Okay. Now, there are a number of different things that we want to be able to do with the fonts, one of which is to be able to get sizes of it. So if we have a look at the sizing routine, so if I look in here, this code has, not that one, so in the G context, there is get string size. That's the call we want. So that gets the string size so that we can decide how we want to render it. And that is useful because that's one of the calls we need. There's also paint to trib. So paint to trib here is an enhanced version of paint, which says, this is a bounding box, this is my string, do this type of rendering. So you can say within it, align yourself and do an underline, which can make it a little bit easier for us to do certain operations. And I think that's probably one that we might actually use, because yeah, being able to just pass in those are the operations we want could be useful. We might just pass them straight through at the moment, I think. But right now, let's just work on the getting the string size, because that's an important one. So, text render string size. A string on screen and in offsets. Oh, that's the thing we're going to want to call. But I actually also want to know the definition of this. So that's the definition. Also, this uses string bounds, which is this thing here. There's the string bounds. Okay, text render string size. And we're going to want some variables. So we want trender rendering context. We want to we know what the font is because we've already got that. Do we just return the bounds? What is the actual end thing? So font, no, sorry, Wimp text dot. So I want to look at that. Shift Control H and then bounce over here, and that's looked it up. So gets the width of the string for the current desktop font. Is this one here. So literally all it does is it just returns us the width. There's no other operation, no other sizing operations here. And this one has some slightly different operations for putting it on the screen, but otherwise it's not especially complicated. All right, well that's cool. There's also some extra text calls as well, but those are the main ones we're going to want. If it is less than or equal to 0, then the full string width is returned. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad then. So for that we need string. We call it text, didn't we? String to size, and that's it for this one. We're not actually wanting any other information on this particular call. We'll actually call this string width, because that's all we're going to be doing for this particular text op call. Returns the width in OS units. Is it actually returning in OS units? I'm assuming we must be returning in OS units because that's the interface we're expecting. So let's have this as a int 32t. So, whoops, as an int 32t. So we have -1 to mean something in the future. Because anything very big is not going to be sensible. We'll have a text render t render const char star text. There we go. Oops, no. So it's going to look very similar to all of them. Int 32t width. But this is actually a get string size font. The bounds is the next thing. Bounds. X limit is the string is the text. String size of 0 and -1, and the split character is also -1 because we don't want anything being split. Okay, and we have a string bounds here. The width of a string is going to be, remind me what these are? It'd be nice if it told me. So ascent descent I can understand, left bearing and right bearing. I believe it's the max of X offset and R bearing. What's char offset? Oh, char offset is the offset of the split character, that's right. Yes, that's right. So we want the maximum of R bearing and X offset. If R bounds.r bearing is greater than bounds.x offset. There we go. And that should give us some string bounds for the size. This is string width, isn't it? So I need to actually update that width. And this call can now go into the header as well. In the header. Here we are. Excellent. Okay, so what we can try and do now is just try that out and see whether that works. In main, there we go. So equals text and underscore string width. Let's see. I won't do it as define. We'll do it as a const char star. There's hello world. Message. String width of message. Oh, sorry, within the trender context, message, and the number of characters is 0 for the whole string. Ooh, did I not? I don't think I did that in there. I didn't know. Length of the string or 0. Or whole string. Control terminated. So we're not currently control terminating, handling control termination, but we will. So we just want int len there. Not that one. This one. Yep. Place all that. And the length here is this one. If len 0, just do a conversion there because that internal interface is expecting -1 for the whole string. I think I might need to do something to make these more able to handle control terminated strings, but we'll work on that at a later date. Let's leave a note though. Fix me. String text should be control terminated, but get text string size has 0 terminated. 0. Right, and then we can do. Where's it? How do I draw lines? I've forgotten how we draw lines. Line start, line end, and then line. Didn't I define a simpler macro for that? Graphics. Oh, that's the internal one. Don't want that. Well, we'll just use the line then. So let's go. G context line. So is it line? Already forgotten. Line starts, then line. What colour should we use? I was going to make that pink, so let me actually make it pink because that's what I wanted. And we'll make this one blue, so darkish blue. And yeah, it was the right number. Line start, and that they don't have anything else on there. Line, is it line? Yeah, line. Oh, come on. Not that one. Main. Start position is 64,800. End position is 64 plus width 800. And then we'll just end that. None of these are actually needed. So the only one that actually matters here is those two, I suppose, because we set the color as well for VDU. But if you're doing operations on a different type of graphics output, it would matter, and so we'd need to do a start and end at that point. It's much easier than having to infer that information. So let's try that and see whether we get a string that has no bearding. Yeah, that's not quite the same thing. Oh, and we never actually assigned the width to anything. Oh, we should have done that. Should have done width equals. Put a macro in here, I suppose, but it doesn't matter. Return width. And what was the other thing I was going to do? Bearding, bearing. There we are. No side effects in void context at 179. Sorry, what? Am I being dumb here? Width is widths. They're not doing returns. Oh, you've got confused there. That's kind of fun. Wrong number of parameters to expression at line 31 in main. Oh, because the ends doesn't actually have a color on it. Because why would it? And do the render. Oh, look at that. There we go. So that's done an underline just there. Show Wimp star. Home to media. Why? Okay, so why didn't we get the font this time? Yeah, do it with the debug. Oh, come on, what have I done wrong here? There's clearly something stupid that's happened. Is this when I converted it to use that other function? It probably is, isn't it? Hey, maybe we need a little bit of debug in this. Find debug. text render desktop, sorry, not desktop font, it's called read font. At desktop font to font name, desktop font to text size, desktop font to font size, and system font. Okay. Let's just have a see whether that gives us anything useful, since the font trapping isn't doing anything. I want to compile it first, don't I? Compile. Homerson.medium at 192 by 192. So it's coming out of here correctly. And then we're going to set font here, which then goes, if it's not equal to none, then lose it and set it to none. If it's a system font, then oh dear, no, no. If it's not the system font, oops. And we got the call there that did that. Right, we just need to do the one that doesn't exit. That's better, isn't it? And it drew it along the baseline, which was odd because when it wasn't set, so if we do set Wimp $font, so that doesn't do the right thing, it'll not find the font, and it prints the text in the wrong place. So that's not right, is it? Although maybe it is in the right place, it's just that the font is the system font has been rendered too small. I think that's more likely. We need to change the size of the system fonts, which we could do, and I just will work on that in a little bit. But definitely that's looking like it's done sensible things at the moment, I think. Status. Yeah. As a right. Add in calls to get the size of the font of the string rendered. The size. Okay. And push that as well. Right, so that's, we've got here, so that's 0 is set the color. So we want to have a configured color that we use for the painting operations. So if we're going to do that, we should put it into the text rendering context. We go into here and we go into the text rendering context. I'm going to define a color here. So this is a color T, which is a uint 32T. Fix me. This should move into G context. A foreground color and a background color. And when we initialize it, these things should be set to be sensible. So T render to FG, so be set to white. Oop. White. And BG should be set to black. I mean, that's not the default for the Wimp. No, it's not the default for the Wimp. Maybe we should be using Wimp defaults. Okay, we should use a default, and that's what we're going to use. In fact, that's what we're going to use, like that. Because then we can change it in the future when we decided that that was wrong. Because whilst we're doing it in the screen here, it seems like an entirely reasonable set of defaults to do whilst we're doing it on these sorts of modes. Default background. There we go. So anywhere that we call the font operations, we shouldn't give it background and a foreground color. We should take those away, and we should instead use the currently set ones. So T render to background and T render to foreground, like that. Take those away from there and add a new call that is, oops, set colors. Oh, I could have left that thing in there, couldn't I? Well, that's actually we'll just copy these two like that, and then replace this. So that becomes semicolon there. Delete that and semicolon there. Cool. So now we've got set colors, which means we need to change the implementation in main here to be set colors, and then set the colors to be those. I should have cut that, shouldn't I? There we are. So that should do the same thing as we just did, but we now have a function that can do setting the colors, or it can just fail. And I didn't use the color teas, did I? Line 27 in C text render. Oh yeah, because that's not an implementation. In fact, all I did was just set the comment and do nothing else. That was actually quite useless. Oops. Color T BG, color T FG. Right, let's try that again, shall we? No, I want the header. Better. And actually, I can't define that color T in here because we need it in the header. So we need to define it in here like that. Line 18 in that. Oh, did we not include stud-ins in that? We didn't include stud-ins in that. Still not working. That's because I've got that round the wrong way. Come on, did nobody spot that? Is my chat stalled? Is that what it is? Or is just nobody talking? I've bored people to death. Which is quite possible. Dave says, I was in the loft, sorry. That's quite allowed, it's fine. You're not the only person here. Close, but not quite. Right, let's try again. Type disagreement for text render paint. 64. Did I not just change that? I thought I just changed that. Text X and Y. Oh, because I still haven't changed the blooming function name. Oh dear, right. So we're going to get this bit working and then we're going to call it a day, because clearly I'm not doing great on paying attention to what I'm typing. Oh dear, yep. There we go. Where are you complaining? In main, inserted before paint. In main. Yep, just a semicolon there. There we go. Yeah, so we made a few changes there. And if we now try running it. Bum, bum, bum. There we go, it's still working. Oh, except I want to see whether it's actually coming out with the right colours. 22, 28. Pink, yes, that's right. I wanted it in a pink. So I don't feel too bad about that. Maybe doing a dark blue on a black background wasn't a good idea for the marker to show the width of it. But I think that's okay. No, I didn't mean that. I did status there. And I should probably make a note that this is Wimp text op 0 like. So we've done text op 0 like implementation, a text op 1 like implementation, and we've got not really, but a little bit of a text op 2 like operation. Not really, but yeah. So that's not done too badly. Okay, commit and say add a call to set the text colors. So the idea of doing them in a similar way is that we can use them for other things if we wish to. We can test them out at the command line in user space when we want to. And if we want to change it very slightly, we can, but it's mostly like the real interface. So we can just use it as it stands. That's the idea. It also means that if we want to try and add new bits to it, it should be relatively similar to what the Wimp interface is going to be as well. But it doesn't have to be. We could make it slightly differently. So we've got most of that to the point where it's running something. We can actually do very simple, where is it? Not debugger, this one. Very simple rendering of text. It's running the tests on here, taking 18 seconds to run. Yay! Which is nice. 18 seconds. Does that mean it actually works? Because it's taking less time than the previous ones. Yeah, it's working. That's fine. Cool. So yeah, that's quite good. Quite good. Probably want to update the status project. So let us do that here. Give me a new window, please. So the features for Wimp text render. So we've got some text rendering work. We've got sizing working. We've got colouring working. We've got rendering working. We're honouring the Wimp font star. And we've seen that we've got system font isn't quite working properly. With scaling. So we've got system font working, but not the scaling. Default fonts in the NRAM, no. Truncation, no. Split points, no. There's also another one here. Which is quite important, which is text using Wimp. What's it called? Wimp sim. Is it Wimp symbols font? There we go. That thing there. So if you use one of the special symbols like the shift key and things like that, or the other arrows, it'll use them properly. So we need to make it do that. We haven't done that yet. We've done none of the fonts, but we have done some of these. We tested these in 64-bit, not recently. Viscous Ammo 64-bit. No, I'm in the wrong project. Viscous Ammo build 64. Right, and then we do Pyro, same thing, but instead of common, we write 64 in there. Right, AF64 dot text render. Yep, that's working, and the line looks like it's gone across the right area of it. So I can tick those off. Yes, yes, colouring. Yep, yep. There we are. So, yeah, we've just made those changes. And you can also go and look at status.md. Wimp text rendering is now, I think we can put it on investigate, because I think we're investigating it, we're trying to get it to work, but we're not yet at the point where we've actually got it doing anything useful, at least not to the point where we'd actually feel comfortable with it. The Wimp scales the system font. No, so Dave said, does the Wimp scale the system font? So yes, it does, because by default the system font is 2:1. It scales it to double height all the time, which you don't usually notice, but it's usually double height. If you set your Wimp font to be much larger, it won't scale it. But I'm thinking that maybe we could do that, but definitely we want to handle that that scaling to make it come out properly, which is why I think it came up only a half height. That's what I think's gone on there. So yeah. Good morning, Chris. I am literally just finishing up. It's one of the problems with having this happen at 1 o'clock is that there's no way our American friends can view it. But welcome nonetheless. Just have a quick look at this. So that's what we've done so far. Commit. Oh, actually, no, I won't copy it because we don't have a module, so it's not actually useful at the moment. Update the Wimp text render status. Font scaling is exactly what I'm trying to understand at 8 AM. I'm very sorry, Chris, and I'm sure Dave can also have much sympathy for you. He's trying to forget his times with font manipulation. Excuse me. So if we now have a look at this, here we are. We now have this marked as in investigate. And we are 50% through the functionality, only 35% through there. Probably a little bit less than that because there's going to be a bit more involved in this, but doing pretty well. Putting the testing in is going to be a bit more hassle, but we'll work on that later. So, excuse me. There are a few parts of this where I've gone, ooh, I must go and do that later. I've got to remember what those are and have a look at them because there was a number of bits and pieces that were just not working right. So I'll look at those. In the meantime, excuse me. I think we're looking quite good. I think this is not doing too badly. And I think we'll be able to probably get something a bit more useful up and running tomorrow. Next week, sorry, not tomorrow. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I will post a status up on the Riscos Open forums, and as usual, if people are interested in following up, drop me a line on there. Maybe I will do live coding every day when I win the lottery. Maybe not, maybe I won't want to do that, but it would be really fun actually. I remember one of the reasons for doing this was Matthew Godbolts had a week off and just devoted it to doing live coding, and that was just so cool. But yeah, I'm not quite at that stage. I still need a job, unfortunately. And can't really justify a week of my time doing just live coding. Yeah, if people do have any comments, please leave comments on the Riscos Open forums, or you can go and use the repository, because if we have a look at the repository, there is the issues section. Oh, actually, that's a good point. If I go to the settings, I can turn on discussions, turn on sponsorship as well. Discussions. Set up discussions. What do we do with that? Welcome to the okay, fair enough. Welcome. Announce to your community that discussions is available. Go ahead and send that tweet, post, link, or link it from the website to drive traffic here. I am mentioning to my community of 12 people. I'll mention it later. You can convert issues to discussions. Oh, that's quite interesting. I may do that. That's quite nice. I may enable this on some of the others as well. Welcome. If I'm going to do this, I need to link it to this, don't I? Oh, where is that gone? There it is. We're using discussion as a place to connect to the members of the community. This is where we can talk about the Riscos Wimp text rendering component. The intended implementation can be seen here. Please feel free to ask questions about this project. Yeah, maybe I should open it up on all the others as well. Oh, so many more things to do that's administrative. No, I don't want people just introducing themselves. I want them to actually be engaged, not just random. If you use issue templates, link to a new issue, well, template. Oh, that's quite cute as well. No, we'll just get rid of that. But thank you very much for that, for helping set that up. Oh, confetti! Thank you. I've already made mistakes, but this is why it's good to have people viewing stuff. Update discussion. Oh, what's that? I can up. Oh, I took away my upvote. Okay. All right, there you go. Discussions. Yeah, it's just discussions, announcements. I've seen it on other people's channels, but I've never actually used them myself. So yeah, it's like a little forum just for this thing. So this is a great thing. We should really use this on the Riscos 64 status repo as well, so people can ask questions as well. Yeah, I'm liking this quite a bit. I think, like everything, you've got to get used to how to use things, and I'm not quite sure yet. But there we go. We've got a new thing that we can use there. And as always, somebody slapped Dave for me. He says, "Will it run impression?" Yes, that's all everybody cares about, or anybody cares about. Is there a 32-bit version of impression? I don't think there was ever one done. There's artworks, but anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yes, do feel free to post things. If people get involved, I can respond and I can feel that people are caring. If they're not caring, then it's just me doing things because I like it. Which isn't bad, but I really want people to actually be interested in this stuff. And if you do want to sponsor me, please do. To anybody here who has sponsored me, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I realise I'm turning into a regular YouTuber by saying that, but I only opened it up to people like earlier in the week, and I've already had a few. So I am really quite touched that there's actually been people who are contributing, because I kind of hoped, but I never really actually expected anybody to. So thank you very much. Again, we'll be doing this next week as well. That'll be on the 18th, I think. We'll be continuing with the text rendering calls, trying to pull in all of the new bits that have been added as well. Yeah. Yes, I do need to have a way to pay for my pineapple juice habit. Although it's quite. I was chatting to Talia about this. The Riscos build service that's been running for like, what's it, 4 years or something, 5 years, costs about $38 a month or something to run. So that's just a cost that I absorb and what have you. But it's kind of nice to have something that also will go towards generally developing things. So yeah, thank you very much. Right, I said I would finish, and it's now quarter of an hour after I said I'd finish. So good to see people. Please do feel free to come along next week, and have a good weekend, what you've got left of it. See you later. Bye.